Tonight on CTV News, rallying for the homeland, maritime reaction to Egyptian crisis.
It's my blood, it's my passion, and I will stand for everything to help and support, whether I'm in the east or the west.
Then, amalgamation consternation, reaction softening in New Brunswick.
It appears that the larger municipalities is going to need more taxation in the future from the province, and I'm thinking that they're looking toward us to get it.
And rare breed, calf triplets, almost 1 in a million.
Live from our Maritime News Center, this is CTV News. Here is Paul Hollingsworth.
Good evening. As anti-government protests continue for a 6th straight day in Egypt, there was a passionate show of solidarity by the Maritime's Egyptian community this afternoon. More than 100 supporters attended a rally calling for democracy. CTV's Gareth McDonald was there.
Ameni Ali could hardly contain her passion at this rally this afternoon. She moved to Canada from Egypt 10 years ago, but today her thoughts and her heart were with the country she left behind.
The 80 million people there is my family. It's not only everybody there is my family. Everybody there is my brother and sister, my father, my mother, my grandmother, everybody. Everybody, I feel them.
More than 100 supporters, young and old, flocked to Grand Parade in downtown Halifax to take part in this show of solidarity with the Egyptian protesters. For the 6th straight day, anti-government demonstrators have taken to Egyptian streets to showcase their opposition to the Hosni Mubarak government. And, like in Cairo, frustrations with these people are mounting.
Enough is enough. It's a fair right for Egyptian people to have their free, fair election, free, fair government.
Today they were hoping to send that message any way they could, be it the singing of their anthem, poetry,
because the cries have only ever been ignored,
chanting, and, in the case of Mahmoud Abaza, flag waving on Barrington Street.
That's my country. I grew up there. I was raised there. It's my blood, it's my passion, and I will stand for everything to help and support, whether I'm in the east or the west. I will do what I can do.
So will these girls, who are planning a religious fast to encourage peace in their home country. But they say they're nervous about the uncertainty surrounding its future.
People are saying that they want Mubarak down, but what is the alternative? I'm just scared for Egypt. I mean, it's chaos now, but what will happen next?
But Ameni Ali is more optimistic. She believes her fellow Egyptians will win the rights they're fighting for.
Good education, good health, everybody have a chance to work, everybody have a chance to choose his life, to say whatever, to feel free, to feel as a human being. This is what we are looking for, and I think we'll get it.
But until they do, Ali says she'll continue to stand united here with her countrymen over there. Gareth McDonald, CTV News, Halifax.
It was a frightening few hours for an elderly woman in Halifax yesterday. Police responded to a report of a home invasion at this house on Yonge Street in the afternoon. The woman who lives there told police a man forced his way into her home at around 2 o'clock and confined her to a chair. The robber allegedly stole several items, including a quantity of cash from the woman, before fleeing the scene. After several hours, she was able to free herself and phone for help. A man was arrested at a Dartmouth residence shortly after this incident.
The suspect is known to the woman, and she's provided us information on him, so we were able to follow that up and arrest the suspect.
No charges have been laid yet, and police say the matter remains under investigation at this time. A rare coyote sighting in an urban neighborhood ended today with the animal being euthanized by Halifax Regional Police. This afternoon, just before 3 o'clock, a coyote was spotted on a backyard on Ellenville Avenue in Dartmouth. The animal ran into a street and then was hit by a car. At that point, not killed, but injured.
It was about an hour wait or so. And I think what the neighbors were upset about is it ended up they blocked the road and shot it 4 times and picked it up with a garbage truck. So I think that's probably what they were probably upset about. So it was alive for about an hour. He was moving.
Halifax Regional Police confirmed the incident happened. There are no reported injuries. Police also say the Department of Natural Resources has been advised of this incident. Police in Nova Scotia are investigating a deadly snowmobile accident in Mulgrave. Emergency crews rushed to the crash yesterday on the old Mulgrave Road where the 31-year-old man was pronounced dead. The Mounties say the victim flipped his snowmobile. At this point, his identity has not been released. Talk of regionalization and amalgamation is heating up in New Brunswick. Last week, Premier David Alward reopened the debate when he said there are too many municipalities in the province. In the past, opposition to the idea has been fierce. But as the province struggles with a debt load nearing $9 billion, that opposition appears to be easing. More from CTV's Andy Campbell.
The road into the village of New Maryland comes directly from the city of Fredericton. The village and its population of almost 4,500 sits snugly against the city. Despite their proximity, New Maryland and Fredericton have a separate service base. But as the province toys with reducing the number of municipalities and local service districts, that could change. The mayor of New Maryland says it won't happen without good reason.
There's a lot of work has to be put into that. You just can't arbitrarily say, well, here's what we're going to do, let's do it. If they say 125, they'll have to have the proof of the pudding on the table.
The Conservative government says it won't act on its own and will meet with mayors and other officials in coming months. Delivering his State of the Province address last Thursday, the Premier said the various levels of government have no choice but to look for ways to consolidate, collaborate, and reduce duplication.
There are well over 300 municipalities and local service districts in New Brunswick. That's way too many. It's unsustainable.
Reducing the number of municipalities would mean amalgamation for some, regionalization for others. It would mean some small communities might disappear, while some cities would get bigger.
It appears that the larger municipalities is going to need more taxation in the future from the province, and I'm thinking that they're looking toward us to get it.
Robin Anderson is the chair of the local service district of Estes Bridge outside of Fredericton. He says amalgamation may not necessarily work, but collaboration is worth discussing.
I'm all for working with larger municipalities, but having said that, I don't want to work for it if it's just going to do nothing but raise your taxes.
The Premier gave no indication when the reform process may begin, except to say sometime this year. Despite the acknowledged benefits, it may not be the easiest sell. Andy Campbell, CTV News, Fredericton.
A crackdown looms along an urban trail where some nature lovers consider unleashed dogs unwelcome. Their complaints mean bylaw officers may soon be fining dog owners who aren't following the rules. CTV's Randy McDonald on the trail of an animal battle.
Stephanie McLean and her unleashed 2-year-old dog Samantha are on a morning walk. Their trek along the Ballard Trail in Sydney's South End is the pair's favorite outing. McLean brings along a leash but doesn't use it.
I've never run into a misbehaved dog, and the dogs do their sniffing thing and we continue on our way and there's never any problems.
Sam White's pet dog also runs free on the 3-kilometer trail. White says it's important for the animal's physical well-being.
The dog is to come in here and have some exercise. That's what it is. And as long as you have your dog under control, I have the leash with me, and if I see people, I'll put them on it. But outside of that, I think the dog has to run.
Dog owners have taken ownership of the trail.
Mike Milburn says he has been bitten twice while jogging along the trail. More recently, he says his mother was bowled over by an unleashed dog.
And a large dog running at high speed knocked into her, and she got knocked off balance, and in her attempt to keep her balance, injured her back quite severely.
What is bringing this dog debate to a head is a proposal to unleash bylaw officers on the trail to enforce municipal regulations which already prohibit dogs from roaming free. The trail is on provincially owned land. The municipality is determining what authority it requires to issue tickets or whether there is an alternative to enforcing the long arm of the law.
This is one of those issues, nobody is wrong, everybody is right, and it's a gym in the heart of the city, and everybody wants a piece of it, and that's quite understandable.
Other nature trails facing similar disputes have resorted to setting aside specific hours or locations for walking unleashed dogs. It's all part of an ongoing dilemma for urban dwellers sharing limited outdoor recreational space. Randy McDonald, CTV News, Sydney.
Well, something very special happened on a New Brunswick farm early this morning. Triplet calves were born, a rarity in itself, but even more surprising, they are of the same sex, and that's something many in the farming community have never seen before. Some say it's a statistical miracle. Here's CTV's Jonathan McGuinness.
Only hours old, this young calf hasn't quite found her balance yet. Her sister tries to get the hang of feeding, and their other sister is content napping. All three were born early Sunday morning. Dr. Andre Sandaun says it's not 1 in a million, but it's close.
What's exceptional about this situation here is that we have 3 healthy live females, heifer calves, that probably weigh close to 60 pounds. So I've never seen it in 33 years of practice.
It's also a rarity for farmer Joe Steves.
That's unusual. We've been here 40 years, and this is the second set. Now, but the other set was a multiple sex. There was 2 bulls and 1 heifer.
The odds of a cow giving birth to same-sex triplets is about 1 in 700,000. Dr. Andre Sandaun says since fertility is hereditary, there's a good chance the calves born this morning will also produce multiple births.
You coming to see the baby?
The sisters have been quite a draw. As word spread, a steady stream of visitors drop by to see the rare siblings. There are a lot of hands helping the mother take care of them, rubbing to get their circulation going, and tube feeding to make sure they gain their strength. Even the proud father gets his licks in.
She got up right away and licked them, and she's a good mother, and that's another good point.
She should know what to do. Last year she gave birth to twins. Despite that, Steves had no indication she was having multiples this time.
Well, we were not really expecting multiple births. We were expecting a good big calf, but we didn't expect that much.
After farming for 4 decades, Steve says he's been thinking about downsizing, but it seems his cattle have a different agenda. Jonathan McGuinness, CTV News, Stony Creek, New Brunswick.